Good evening, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for Monday, December 8, 2025. And in the news this evening, Daniel Archer resigns as the Principal Director of NIA. Daniel Archer has resigned as the Principal Director of National Integrity Action, one of the country's leading anti-corruption and transparency watchdogs. The announcement was made Monday by the organization, the local chapter of Transparency International. Archer, who has been a vocal critic of Jamaica's governance framework, has at times faced strong criticism from members of the political directorate during her tenure. In a statement, NIA said Archer's resignation takes effect December 31. She replaced the NIA founder, Professor Trevor Monroe, in May 2023. The organization credited Archer with providing visionary leadership, strategic clarity, and an unwavering commitment to integrity in public life. It has been an honor to lead the NIA in its mission to build cultures of integrity, Archer said. I remain committed to supporting Jamaica's reform journey and to advancing the principles of integrity and accountability governance wherever my path leads. NIA said during her tenure, Archer led several initiatives aimed at strengthening accountability frameworks, advancing democratic safeguards. The NIA Board of Directors described her departure as the close to a challenging chapter in the organization's history, noting that her contributions have left an indelible mark on Jamaica's integrity landscape. Archer's leadership has been instrumental in shaping NIA's reform agenda. Her dedication to values-driven governance and her ability to inspire change will continue to resonate across the institutions she has touched, said NIA Chairperson Dr. Lyndon Rose. NIA indicated that arrangements are now being made to appoint a new principal director. Chickenpox outbreak at the St. Andrew Police Station delays a murder case. There is an outbreak of the chickenpox disease at Hunts Bay Police Station in St. Andrew, the country's top prosecutor disclosed on Monday. Claudette Thompson, Director of Public Prosecutions, did not disclose details about the outbreak. She made the disclosure in the Home Circuit Court in downtown Kingston when the murder case against Lennox Williams was called up. Williams is in custody at Hunts Bay Police Station and was not taken to court because of the chickenpox outbreak. A comment has been sought from the St. Andrew South Police Division. Ninja Man murder appeal delayed to March 2026. The long-awaited appeal hearing for entertainer Desmond Ninja Man Ballantyne and his two co-convicts has been postponed as legal representative for one of the men is sorted. The case is now provisionally set to be heard during the week of March 23 next year. Oral arguments were scheduled to run for a week starting today. The case has been affected by representation issues for co-convict Dennis Clayton, whose original attorney fell ill. His latest attorney was only retained just days before the appeal was due to be heard, leaving limited time to review what has been described as a voluminous case file. One of the central issues to be argued on appeal is visual identification. Veteran attorney Valerie Nita Robertson KC, who had represented Ninja Man, died in February. Attorney Robert Fletcher now represents the entertainer. King's counsel Peter Champagny, who represents Ninja Man's son, Janil, said he was ready to proceed but acknowledged the legal realities surrounding multi-accused appeals. Like all matters that are before the court involving co-accused or co-appellants, the matter cannot be heard disjointly, Champagny told the news on Monday. It's a setback, but it is something that is understandable. Ninja Man, his son Janil, and Clayton were sentenced to life in prison in 2017 for the 2009 murder of Ricardo Johnson, a man from Kingston. The sentences were handed down by Justice Martin Gale in the Home Circuit Court in December 2017, following the truest conviction in November that year for murder and shooting with intent. Prosecutors led evidence that the killing stemmed from a domestic altercation in the St. Andrew community of Lower Mall Road. According to the prosecution, a day after the altercation, Ninja Man, his son, reportedly returned with guns and other weapons, chased Johnson and another witness through a fence, and as Johnson attempted to fend off the attackers, shots were fired, hitting him in the side. Former Jazz President Lenworth Fulton has died. Former President of the Jamaica Agricultural Society, Lenworth Fulton, has died. Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, Floyd Green, who worked closely with Fulton, took to Instagram to express condolences, stating that Fulton was a true champion for Jamaican agriculture, whose leadership strengthened farmers and communities across the island. A cause of death was not immediately revealed. PNP's Paul Buchanan loses latest bid to overturn Wholeness victory in St. Andrew West Central. The Supreme Court has dismissed Paul Buchanan's latest attempt to overturn the election result for the St. Andrew West Central constituency, which was won by Prime Minister Andrew Holness in September's general election. Buchanan of the opposition People's National Party filed an application for permission to seek judicial review of the decision of the constituted authority not to apply to the election court to void the results of the September 3 poll. Justice Sonia Wint-Blair, in delivering the decision on Monday, ruled that the application was not arguable and was subjected to a knockout blow in the law. The court found that the mandatory statutory time period for challenging the election results had expired and that the October 8 judicial review application was futile. The judge said even if the court granted the orders compelling the constituted authority to refer the matter, the outcome would be void because the law prevents the court from extending the time set by Parliament for such electoral challenges. In electoral matters, time is of the essence. Therefore, not only must this court be satisfied that the threshold test for leave has been surmounted, but there must also be an overlay of electoral realities as a matter of law, the judge said. She concluded that the threshold test has not been surmounted. The constituted authority is a special independent public body created under Jamaica's election laws to protect the integrity of national elections by deciding whether a flawed election should be sent to the election court, which could void the results. The statutory period for the constituted authority to apply to the election court to void the taking of a poll is 14 days from the date the poll was taken. Buchanan has alleged numerous irregularities with the poll in St. Andrew West Central on September 3. Among other things, he pointed to the concerns about the electronic voter identification system and the process to identify voters. But the constituted authority dismissed his complaints. In this application, this court is being asked to make orders compelling the authority to apply to have the election result avoided. However, this court has not received the material evidence from the candidate concerning the delay in making the request to the authority, Justice Wint-Blair said. Judicial review allows the courts to scrutinize the legality of decisions taken by public authorities and not the merits of the decision. It is for Mr. Buchanan to show that there are grounds for judicial review in the decision-making process of the authority, as the court is not concerned to correct the decision made by the authority, the judge noted. Note, Blair also said Buchanan did not provide details on his inaction during the period since the election date. This period of inaction between September 3 to 15, 2025 remains unexplained by Mr. Buchanan, the justice said. The election took place on September 3, with the 14-day statutory window for the constituted authority to apply to the election court opening next. Buchanan did not submit his request to the authority until September 16, virtually on the eve of the deadline. Following the authority's refusal on September 30, Buchanan submitted his application to the Supreme Court on October 8. The unexplained delay in taking any steps to prosecute the electoral matter did not make judicial review an effective remedy when viewed within the legislative scheme, Justice Winter Blair said. In its October 1 decision, the constituted authority said Buchanan relied on Section 37E of the Electoral Petition Act, which deals with violence or irregularities capable of distorting or subverting the process of free and fair elections. It concluded, however, that the evidence presented did not meet the threshold required under the statute. Holness won the seat with 7,054 votes to Buchanan 4,953. The margin prompted public debate because Holness had been trailing by nearly 100 votes after 87 of the 105 ballot boxes were counted. The remaining 18 boxes, which shifted the outcome, came from polling stations at the Seaward Gardens Primary and the Infant School, according to the Director of Elections. Thank you everyone for watching. See you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for another news update.